Hi, everyone. We are back with A Brighter Future Starts Here, sponsored by the American Society for the Positive Care of Children. I'm your host, Tracy Kawa, and with us today, we have back with us once again, after an amazing interview last time, Ms. Charlene Bouie talking about domestic violence, breast cancer, and building the resilient woman. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
I'm so glad you're back with us. I know you have an amazing upcoming event that you're going to be sharing with us. But before we even go there, I understand that you had a horrific year,
Yes,
health wise. And you know what? I shouldn't say horrific because thank God you're here with us today, right?
yes.
However, tell us about it. Share what happened.
I tell you, to be perfectly honest, I'm just grateful to be alive. A friend of mine from high school, we decided we would go to Key West for the weekend, and in the process, we were canoeing. And it was during COVID time as well. We had on our mask. And from that, I was diagnosed with Legionnaire's disease. And Legionnaire's disease, 1 out of 10 people die from it. So when I returned home, I just thought I was very tired. Why? I never thought to go to a doctor or call the doctor. I have no idea. I just thought I was extremely tired. One thing led to another. I was passing out in my home. My oxygen level was 70%. Um, I had a neighbor that saw me and she saw that I wasn't doing well. She called the paramedics. They took me to the hospital. I was in intensive care for 10 days. And after that, there a little bit longer and just recuperating my lungs. Still are not 100%,
Hmm.
but I'm functioning okay. It's been a journey. I
Yeah.
walk every day. I went from working out hardcore to now I walk twice a day for the most part, but I'm much better than what I was. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm
Yeah.
grateful to yet be an advocate on behalf of women and domestic violence.
Awesome. What causes Legionnaire's disease?
From what the doctors explained, it comes from dirty water. And I was in the lagoon, but water didn't get in my face. So they kind of figured maybe it came from the air ducts in the hotel that we were in. And from there, it just kind of took on an effect. I slept a lot. And then when I would get up, I was exceptionally tired. I can't even describe that type of tired. The thought of getting up was tired, and then to move was even more tiresome.
Yeah.
But I survived. That's the
Beautiful.
best part, is that I have survived, and I'm glad to be alive.
And you're here with us today, and we're so
Yeah,
grateful.
thank you.
So, what's been happening with Coffee Talk with Charlie? Tell us a little bit about what your organization has been doing, how it's been evolving.
Well, I do have some new projects that I've been working on that I've not made public, but my closest friends know that it's what I do. I do a lot with women empowerment. I talk to women who are either surviving domestic violence or who are still in domestic violence. One of the newest projects I have is that once a week I get to talk with women that are in Ghana and Nigeria, and we talk about life empowerment. We talk about what it is for women to survive and overcome life obstacles, not necessarily domestic violence, but that's that women empowerment
Yeah,
component. And I really enjoy that. So that's the newest project that I've
that's
been working on, not to include and to include some of the things that I'm doing privately. Many times women that I talk to are not women that want to be made public. And a lot of times when you need numbers for grants, you need names, you need how many people you're servicing, and a lot of the people that I deal with just don't want their names anywhere. So sometimes I find that a little bit challenging, but for me it's not always about the numbers. It's about the women that are making the change and learning how to make assessments in their home and how to make adjustments on their own.
yeah. And I remember from our conversation last time that you do serve a lot of very high profile people who we
Yes.
really would never think might be in a situation that involved domestic abuse. So, it's just, I take my hat off to the work that you do. I'm curious what you find as the connecting link or the commonalities now that you've gone global between women in Ghana and Nigeria and women here in the United States. Is it the same conversation? Is it a different conversation?
It's the same conversation. That's the thing that was most amazing to me, is that women's issues are women's issues. Men are men, no matter what the culture is, no matter what the nationality is, the scenarios are the same. And women, no matter what, we're still learning how to deal with infidelity. We're learning how to balance out our children and teach our children how to balance their emotions, how to stay focused. There is no difference. And
Wow.
that was the thing that was amazing to me. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine not long ago, going, there's really no difference. And because it is private, no one knows who I'm talking to and who's talking to me, because I too have someone that I talk to as well, because sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming, the rejection, the ability to be able to stay focused no matter what's going on around you. So there are times that I need someone that I speak with. But what I realized the most is that there was no difference, no matter what the country, the culture was. Not what I can say is culture is a little bit different. But when it comes to the issue at hand, there is no difference. When you're hurting, you're hurting. When your children are crying and they're hungry, or they want resources, or they need an outlet, there is no difference. I think the most challenging part for me is what I call, I'm the outlet, I'm the person you share with.
Yeah.
But when we're in public, it's just, hi, how are you? It's no real connection of what we're discussing in private. In the beginning, that was the most challenging part for me. But what I recognize now is that it doesn't matter what people know. It's the fact that I am changing lives, and the people that I talk with know that they can trust me. And when we're in public, we're not acting strange, like we don't know each other. It's just a common, hi, how are you? And we keep moving.
Right. If it's even the acknowledgments at all, right?
Yes,
Because
yes,
there are times that there may be no
yes.
acknowledgement because somebody with accompanying that person might say, so who is that person? How do you know her? Right?
Yes,
That's a
that
fair
has,
conversation.
believe it or not, that has happened
Sure.
on occasions. And so sometimes people don't want to be associated with me. And what we don't realize, me as a human, that's an adjustment.
Yeah.
To assist people who cry on your shoulder. You give them resources, you tell them ways out, how to develop exit plans, and then to really be okay when you see them in public, because it's not personal. It is
Right.
about protecting the conversation we have, what we're doing, how they're trying to go from one stage to the next stage. And what I can say, in the workplace, 65% of workplaces do not have a emergency plan for domestic violence.
Wow.
And the other thing is, they get 3 days off out of the year. So 12 months out of the year, a victim can only have 3 days off and her job is not threatened. But what happens when it's multiple times?
Yeah.
What happens when your spouse is the CEO of the company? What happens when your spouse is the political influencer? Who do you go to? So people need people like me, and I just had to learn how to make the adjustment, because it wasn't personal, it was about surviving.
Yeah. It sounds like also a lot of pressure comes with those high positions.
It does. It does. But again, I enjoy what I do. People
Yeah.
say, well, she's always smiling, she's always happy. Not really. On days when I'm not, or I feel overwhelmed, I'm just not in public,
Yeah.
or I'm not talking on social media. I have my times where I need downtime also. I need time to process
Yeah.
information that I've received from someone else. What do you do when someone dies? How do you feel when they're still in the hospital, but yet I have to continue to function? So I hold a lot of secrets. And
Mhm.
I have to be okay with the people who say things to me, that are what I consider to be disrespectful. I understand that is lack of knowledge. So it's people like me and others that it is our responsibility to help the general public understand. We are women. We highlight breast cancer and we pretend that domestic violence does not exist, but it's for us both. The women, whether it's domestic violence or breast cancer, we're still women. We're still women with issues that need a support system. So a part of what I do is I bring the two groups of women together and I honor them under one umbrella.
That's so awesome because really you're just spreading the bandwidth, right? They're
Mhm.
really, to a certain degree overlapping with issues because they both affect women, they both affect
Yes.
families. And while you were talking a little while ago, I was thinking, boy, she's really like an emotional bodyguard.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right. You're really an emotional bodyguard, and even therapists need therapy,
Hmm.
right? Because you take in, it's like being a sponge that takes in so much water and so much water and so much water that, it there comes a time where that affects you as a person as well, and you just need an outlet. I'm not saying for the secrets, but just an outlet for your
Yes.
own
Yes.
personal feelings because you're so busy fending off and helping and emotionally supporting others.
And not only that is, um, I am a survivor also, so I have my trigger moments as well, which also allows me to understand other people's trigger moments. And because of the many areas of abuse that I suffered, I have many types of
True.
triggers. But the thing is, I understand them now. For years, I didn't. I understand because I understand them. I understand when other people put up shields or they kind of shy away. It's subconscious. I go, oh, I recognize that.
Mhm.
So for me, it becomes a joy. You have attorneys that talk about proudly their work. You have doctors that proudly speak about their works. Well, I'm a survivor of sexual, physical, and emotional abuse, and I proudly wear it. I'm not ashamed. No one can shame me. Every one of us have something that we overcome or something that we're great at. This is one that I'm great at. I'm not just good at it, I'm great at it. I own it. I take time to study. I take time to do research. What can I do to help it make life a little bit easier for the woman when you are the high profile individual? What does that look like when
Mhm.
it's you? What does it look like when you are the pastor's wife? You are the police officer's wife. What does that look like? We have so much work that we have to do. And I'm so excited about the upcoming event because I have the vice chairman of county managers. I have city manager. County commissioners, city managers, Broward County city manager. I mean, I have a host of people that we're going to come together and sit under one umbrella and say, how can we make a difference? And I have different counties involved. I have the tri-counties, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Let's come together and talk about how we can make a difference for the state of Florida. You tell me what you're doing in your part of the city. I share what I'm doing because ultimately it is about the woman surviving, families surviving. When you save a woman, you are saving a family. And
Wow.
we've got to get past where domestic violence is so shameful. The woman is not the victim. At what point do we hold the perpetrator accountable for their actions? Immediately. It's not, will you stay too long? Do you really understand fear? Do you really understand what the intimidation and what that does to the mind, the body, the spirit, the emotions? When you understand that, you have a different outcome. You look at that woman completely different. You may start out being extremely confident, but if you hear enough negativity, whether you male or female, you hear enough negativity, it begins to affect you. And I'm
Absolutely.
starting to have men express what their abuses are like also. And
Mhm.
sometimes theirs is a lot of emotional abuse. How are you going to run a country, run a city, run a state when the person that you live with is like this?
Yeah.
Negative, negative,
That's it.
negative. It's
Not support.
extremely hard.
Yeah. Very difficult. We all need our supporters to accomplish our goals and our missions, to get our
Mhm.
vision out there. And speaking of visions getting out there, I want to backtrack a little bit. Tell us the story behind how you tied breast cancer awareness with domestic violence.
Oh, it was a difficult one, but an easy one. My best friend, who is Vernette DePuge, she was diagnosed with breast cancer the day of my event.
Oh,
And she stated, and she's on my board of directors as well. And so she called me up to say that she wasn't going to be at the event. I was like, what are you talking about? You're not going to be there. And she didn't want to tell me what was going on, but I pressured her and she said that she had been diagnosed with breast cancer. I tell you, I was late at my own event and I was at the venue. I just couldn't seem to get it together. I pulled my emotions together and I managed to make it through. And because of her, being diagnosed with breast cancer. She's now breast cancer free this many years later. And
wonderful.
that was how I implemented breast cancer into my organization because of my best friend. We've been friends since we were 15 years old. She know all of my secrets. I don't keep anything from her. And so it was real challenging when she was going through that time. But I'm still alive. She's still here, and we're yet working together to help empower women.
Right. And you're also harnessing everything that you've been through, even this past year, and everything that she's gone through, right? It's made you stronger, it's made you more aware, it's made you more compassionate, I would believe. It's made you more resourceful to find the resources that people need during trying times, would you say?
Yes, one of the things that I teach people is everything in life, either it's something you caused or it's something that's being allowed to take place to bring out the better of you. But we have to look at life differently. We can't look at it from the perspective is woe is me, and every challenge, every disappointment has come to destroy us. When actuality is some things come to make us better. But you've got to see it. How does it make you better? And everyone around you won't see it that way. So you have to separate yourself from those that don't and surround yourself with those who see it from the perspective of growth and not a place of destroying the individual. Because what happens is when you become stronger, you understand your process better. You're able to look at people differently. We look at actions when in what we should be looking at is the why. Why are you responding the way that you are? Why are you acting out? Because for every action, there's a reaction. And if the reaction is negative, we need to take the time to find out the why. And a lot of things start in the foundation of the home.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you 100%. And getting back to the why and the triggers are something that can recur.
Yes.
Triggers are something that, even though you deal with a situation in that moment or have ongoing therapy, you can still be re-triggered,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think,
Here is one of my triggers that I'm still learning how to overcome. Don't accuse me of doing something that I did not do.
right.
That comes from because I did not have a voice. And to people, I'm extremely confrontational. But I feel like this: if you say I did it, say it to my face and say it to the person that you stated that I said it to. Otherwise, it becomes this whole backwards type of feeling. I feel like I can't defend myself. No, you cannot chase down every lie. But if you're bold enough to say that I did it and I find out, then let's have a discussion about it. That's one thing. And then I fight for others that if I know that you have mistreated them and they did not do what you are accusing to, I am the person to go to.
Yeah, I
Because
can agree
we
with you.
will fight this. We will fight this to the end. People are committing suicide. People are overwhelming behind your lie, behind your misunderstanding. Sometimes we are holding people accountable for things that you know nothing about. You are holding them accountable for something that someone else accused them of, and you don't even know them yourselves. We've got to take time to get to know one another and not judge people based on what someone else is saying. Your experience with an individual may be completely different. And when you develop relationship, you may find out, you may very well find out the person who gave you the information was making the other individual look bad so that they can look good. We've got to be responsible for how we treat one another and not pass it on to someone else. So those are two trigger points for me, but it comes from because I was never believed. My voice did not matter. And when I recognized that my voice mattered, my thought mattered, it didn't matter to me what nobody else thought.
Right. That's usually the turning point, isn't it? When
Mm-hmm.
somebody recognizes that they do have power with their voice and you're
Right.
using it so well for advocacy on behalf of others. And Charlene, I am so glad that you brought up about people who are committing suicide and others accusing someone of this, that, or the other thing, because guess what? This month is also Bullying Awareness and Bullying Prevention Month. So this is all just one big
It's all relative.
conglomerate of
Yes.
issues that are all relevant, all
Yes.
relevant. So thank you for bringing that up. Tell us a little bit about your event. When is the event taking place?
The event is October 24th. It's at the Eileen Lieberman Botanical Gardens here in Lauderhill, Florida. I have a host of experts in their own field. I have two police chiefs. One is from Ed Hudak, is from Coral Gables. I have Chief Constance Stanley, who was here from Lauderhill in Lauderhill. I have the county vice chairman of the county commissioners, Oliver Gilbert. I have Commissioner Jeffrey Watson from the city of Miami, Commissioner Ken Russell, who is also from the city of Miami. We have former NBA player Billy Thompson, who is going to talk from the Christian's perspective because he is also a pastor. And so he has a great deal of insight as well. So I just think that this is going to be a phenomenal event where we get a wide range of experienced people talking about what they're doing in their county, what they're doing in their city, and how we all can come together and be a support system to one another. I have information that I will be giving out from all three counties because I can't do this work alone, considering every 2 minutes a woman is abused somewhere in the United States, which means we all have to come together. We all have to create an exit plan so that women can understand what it's like to be able to leave their abuser, whether you're in a 7-figure income bracket or you're underprivileged. Either way it go, an exit plan needs to be executed for each income bracket because it looks different for everyone. And I know that because I've dealt with the lower class as well as the upper class. And I don't like to say classes. I just like to say I've dealt with different types of women and how you can make a difference. You've got to be able to meet that woman where she is. And because you are in a 7-figure income bracket does not mean that you are balanced in your emotions. Sometimes the issues at hand are the same. It's how you communicate with that woman so that she feels that she's not alone. And that takes skill. Not everyone can do that. Some people have the book knowledge, but do you know how to have the empathy for the woman and she not feel bad? She can feel good about herself. Maybe not initially, but if you take the time to listen, because what comes from the heart goes to the heart. And when you speak to the heart of a woman, she feels that no matter what. Kindness goes a long ways. And we've got to get back to being kind one to another.
We've got to get back to being kind. We've got to get back to being compassionate, to being empathetic, to taking a moment to listen to each other, whether we like what we're going to hear or not. I love the lineup. I love the lineup that you have. You have government officials. You have public servants. You have fire chief, police chief. You have a whole lineup of important city officials. And I know from past experience about putting an event together with a group, I can only imagine being the one to spearhead it.
I'm so tired.
I'll bet you are.
But I have the vice mayor of Lauderdale Hill that is partnering with me. Our vice mayor is Denise D. Grant, who has been a great assistance in spearheading this with me. So I'm not completely alone. I have a team of ladies that are working with me. I have those who service the community that is working with me. So I'm not alone. I even have people that live in other states that have assisted me with this. We have swag bags that we're giving out, and some of the goodies that are going into the swag bag has come from California, Seattle,
Nice.
my former hometown.
Wow,
So
that's exciting.
it's coming along. It's coming along. It's coming along. And it's my birthday weekend. So we're doing a lot that weekend.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So shout out to Ms. Grant and to all of the people who have been helping you and supporting you to put this event together. I'm glad you mentioned the participation from out of state, because one of the questions that I've been dying to ask you is, do you see this event as a model that can be copied in other areas, in other states, and what would that look like?
Absolutely. Well, to be honest, I've done this in other states. So Florida is not the first place
Ah,
that I've hosted events like this. I've been in Seattle, Atlanta, Oregon, Carolina. Um, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. My youngest son just moved to Houston, so I'm looking forward to doing something like this in Houston
nice.
as well. That's my next goal, is to get to Houston.
To
And
use.
I have quite a few friends that are there. I have a friend, Chief Mary Young, who is she's at TSU. We've talked about some things. We're talked about collaborating. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Awesome.
It's not just here in the state of Florida, because women around the world, not just country, around the world, a girl child is a endangered species these days. So
Oh,
we've got to start to educate them early, what it looks like when you're in college, who do you go and report your issues to, and someone that's trusted, not just anyone, someone that will make a difference and help you overcome and navigate through the areas of life that you've been tried in.
beautiful. Providing the support that perhaps you didn't have in your younger day and that many women didn't have when they needed it.
And
So
that's where a lot of this comes from, Tracy, is the support that I did not have. And
yeah,
most people I have found that I did with go into a shell and they hide. I came out screaming. Once I realized that my voice was valid and that I was making a difference in the lives of women, when I recognized that, I was like, oh, this is a gift. These things were allowed to happen to me because I would come back and make the difference. The thing that I say to people, you cannot shame me. You cannot. It does not matter to me what you think about domestic violence, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. It does not matter what you think or how you feel. There is a group of women that want to hear what I have to say, and they want to know, how do I get out? How do you survive? How do you overcome? How do you make the difference? How did you do it, Charley? Many days I cried. Many days I didn't know if I was coming or going. But every day, one young lady said to me, I was like the weeble wobble. You knocked me down, I got back up. You knocked me down, I got back up. And I was not concerned with what people thought and how people felt about what my circumstances were, because many of the people that talked publicly about me were some of the same people who were coming to me privately. Figure that out. So it doesn't matter to me what people think or feel. There are women that are waiting for me. There are women that want to know how to survive, how to get out, how to make a difference. How do I save my money when your husband is the breadwinner in the family? Oh, I have ideas. I have solutions, not just ideas. I have solutions. Those are not solutions that I talk about publicly, because when you're trying to lead, you need to know what to do.
where can ladies find you? Where can individuals find you?
You can go to my website, www.coffeebreakwithcharlie.org. You can go to my email, cbwc@live.com. I do counseling sessions online. I mean, you could set an appointment up online. If you would like to support my organization and what I do for women, you can also go to my website. You can make a donation. You can make a monthly donation, weekly, or however you feel led. It's because all of it goes back to what I do in women. I'm not working off of grants, any of that. Everything that I do is coming out of my own pocket. And so for the people who look at the spectacular events that I do, I have not made a dime, not a dime. It all goes into part of what I'm doing for women and children.
You're just such a big, loving heart.
Thank you.
And I literally have to applaud you on how you advocate for women and children, families. I just appreciate you so much. And I love hearing about the different advances that you've been making with your organization. Let's tell them again where they can go to Coffee Break with Charley if they'd like to purchase tickets to your upcoming event.
At this point, I'm just about giving these tickets away. I want people to be there. It's www.coffeebreakwithcharley.org. What did I say that? www.coffeebreakwithcharley.org. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so
Because
much.
what's important is that you get the message. The money right now is not the most important thing to me. The most important thing is that you get the information, whether the information is for yourself or the information is for someone else. Either way, you need the information, and you need to know what political advocates are feeling and thinking about it. And you need to know what the police department is doing when it comes to women who have been abused. Everyone is not out to get us. There are a group of people that are willing to make a difference. And so what's most important is that you come.
I love the partnerships that you've developed with the city and with the Tri-County areas, and apparently with the other states that you've held this event in. I think you're so wonderful at building relationships and really helping people to see their value and to find their voice.
Thank you. And the thing that I don't do, I think this has given me an opportunity to really share with people the work that I do, because I'm really private about it. People know that I do domestic violence, but I still get the, well, who is she? What does she do? Well, where is she? What is she doing? It's because the people that I assist is not about the public knowing. It is about the people and the families knowing. That's what's most important to me, because when my family and I was going through all this, I didn't want the world to know. I wanted someone that I can trust to assist me, because I always knew, I've always prepared my children for this. They have always known at some point, when I got my strength together, when I got my emotions together, I was going to advocate on the behalf of women and families.
They always knew it. And your boys are right there to support you, from what I understand.
Yeah, I have three children. I have 3 children and 2 grandchildren. And you're right. Everything that's done far as my organization is done within my family.
Beautiful. So nice to watch generations, right? Coming up behind generations that are so humanitarian, that are so philanthropic.
They keep telling me I need my own staff, that every other week they say, Mom, we're firing you. You need your own assistants. We are not it.
We're always right there by your side the following
yes,
day.
Yes. Even with my son that's on tour, we're talking, because Mom, I'm on tour. I go, I know, just one more thing, just one more thing.
It'll take 5 minutes.
But I'm blessed to know that I have people that will support me. I have guests that are coming from out of town for this event. So I'm not alone. I may not have the people with me that I desire, but I'm not alone.
Not at all.
I'm not alone.
Alone. Your heart is full, and it's like a magnet. It draws other kindred spirits like you, who just want to do good in the world and help out families and participate and share knowledge and support each other.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
One more time, the name of your event and the date, and here's where we can get the tickets on.
It's Summit in the Park. It's at the Eileen Liebman Botanical Gardens in Lauderhill, Florida. If you would like to attend the event, you can go to my website, www.coffeebreakwithcharley.org. Like I stated, at this point, it is about you getting the information. It is not about the ticket sale at this point. It is about you coming to get the information. It's an all-white affair. It's limited seating. So once you go on and you register, and I see that your name has come up, once I get to 125 people, I am cutting it off. That's it. It is about the information. I want to repeat. It is about the information at this point, that you get what you need to be able to survive, you or your family. It is not about the money for me. It is about you getting there so that you can get what you need to empower this next generation.
Awesome. It's about getting the information and the education and the resources and the impact. Thank you so much, Charlene. We love having you on the show. So thank you so much for the update. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for all the help and the wonderful information that you're delivering to the public. So if you hang on just 1 second, I'm just going to do a quick outro. If you know someone like Charlene Bouie making a tremendous contribution and a difference or an impact within their community, please contact us. Go to americanspcc.org. And remember, a brighter future starts here.